Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Bring It Dawn. Let's make our way to the observatorium once we figure out how. The new options there.
I always keep my options open.
I saw this section before. I thought once we got past the lift we'd circle over to it. That could definitely be a hidden
Keep your wits about you.
door. Heavy lifters. The wearer gains plus 30 strength. If the wearer has not moved the previous turn, the range attacks with heavy weapons deal plus 50% damage until the end of the turn. Mark 8B3-5 filter gas mask. Wearer gains plus 25 athletics and becomes immune to toxin. Plus 30 strength. That's nothing to shake a stick at. So they seem designed for Pascal if you have a heavy weapon equipped in his ranged weapon slot. I'd say they'd be good on Argenta, but she moves every turn. So for each bonus point of strength, the characters deal 5% more damage with one-handed melee weapons. For two-handed melee weapons, this bonus is doubled to 10% additional damage for each point. That's an extra 3 points. Lose some weapon skill. But parry can't go above 95%. It does help if enemies reduce your parry chance. Let's do that. I can get rid of this too. But between this and the heavy lifters we just got, that's a huge bonus to athletics. Definitely don't need that. I don't think we've come across an athletics check in a while that we didn't have a 100% chance on.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Okay, the Skitarii here. This is odd. I see scratch marks from a servo claw on this venerable Skitarius' armor.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Now everything is clear. The battle was fought here, and during preparations for it, Amarnat declared the observatorium off limits. So now we can come over here and talk to the tech shaman. Even to fellow servants of the Omnissiah, the explorators, it was an internal conflict, and expected his erstwhile tech comrades to become his enemies. No new options there.
I always have a backup plan.
This holy ship's... deplorable condition is an unacceptable heresy. There we go. A Pascal. Unblock the lift. Pascal enunciates solemnly, accompanying each word with binaric commands. As its first pronouncement, this unit declares that no security threat to the High Observatorium is present. As its second pronouncement, this unit orders the operation of the list system to be restored. As its third pronouncement, this unit confirms its authorization to issue that order. I feel like the third one should be the first one. The servitor's jerky movement is accompanied by a shower of sparks from his mouth. His optical visor makes a series of clicks. Unit's hierarchical rank, almost forgot a syllable there, not recognized. Authorization to give orders unconfirmed. Awaiting confirmation. This unit is not part of the Hermetico chain of command. It must introduce itself to the ship's system for confirmation of its authority. Which brings us back to this guy. No new options, so I think we still have to give the correct dialogue options in order. Let's go with the Messiah of Discontinuing. We've read all this before. So, a show of force gave us extra dialogue options. I believe that's the correct one. Plus it shows off the unique ability that Pascal has, that we saw when we first met him back on Rykad. Minoris? Yeah, Minoris. And we get the extra dialogue from Ofar, so that has to be the right option there. And this is also a different response than what we normally get. And I think we leave it up to Pascal here. Because option 1, you're just making stuff up. Option 2 could be right. But if we're right and that Pascal is part of Amarnat, then option 3 just makes more sense. And he says that. And look at that! The tech shaman listens to the crackling that comes in response, and opens his mouth to say something, only for Pascal to interrupt him in a tone of authority. The Prefect Enumerator has stated that he knows my name, and is familiar with my power. He respects my mission, and grants me a place within the crew's chain of command. Your work here is done, Binaric Interpreter. Pascal looks at you and adds with slight surprise. I remember this language now. Or more precisely, this unit used to know it. And now remembers having known it. The tech priest turns toward the wall with the sacred mechanisms concealed inside it, and says doubtfully, I am registering an anomaly. The data exchange deviated from the standard registration procedure. The Prefect Enumerator was commanded to limit the number of people who have clearance to issue orders, including even high-ranking tech priests from the other ships. It was tasked with defending the observatorium as if it were under siege. Our mutual introduction rather resembled an exchange of secret passwords. Pascal, show the Prefect Enumerator's authorization that confirms your right to give orders. Not sure why I have to give him that command. Hypothesis. As soon as the lift going up to the observatorium is operational, we will be attacked. The deck guard will activate and attack us, requesting confirmation of readiness for combat. Do it. Raising his voice, the tech priest solemnly repeats his command to the servitor. An intricate, monumental, and piercing binaric aria pours from Pascal's vox. Encoded in its signals is Hanuman's authority to give orders on this ship. The servitor stares at Pascal with visored eyes and bows his head awkwardly. Regalia identified. I greet the Venerable Magos and will execute the order presently. Lift system activated. The servitor's last words are drowned out by a harrowing screech that rolls across the deck as several shrill voices wail. Security perimeter breach for the Omnissiah.
You will beg for mercy, but I will grant none.
Your Emperor won't save you!
The music almost has a similar rhythm as the song from the Mechanicus game. Be cool if that was a little homage to it, because that soundtrack is pretty good.
Explorers know one route. Forward.
My place is at the fore.
The scriptural prognosis is favorable. The order is contrary to dogmatic protocols. Vulnerability analysis successful.
Alright, not too shabby. I could have popped this first. That's alright.
Tell me, and if...
My vow is to serve. Suffering is part of the trial. Activating force mode sacrament.
Yes, I messed up there and used Pascal's
Out of
heroic
my
action
way.
instead of Jai's. I could have given him a whole nother turn and
Chaos guides me.
probably could have wrapped this up on his own, but that's alright.
I will do my duty. Reduce to dust! Victory is imminent. I took care of this one. Indeed.
The wolf is on the hunt. My hand is thunder. My strike is ruin. Cubs play. Wolves reign. Die in disgrace. I challenge you, Damget. None can do this better than a warrior of the All-Father.
So he's not supposed to miss his single attack. That's not the first time he's missed a single shot attack. Of course, this guy's blocking the way.
Who, if not me?
See how the wolf succeeds.
I guess it's possible that was an impossible angle to hit him at. But let us take the shot, so... Brass Whisper. Inquisition Enforcer. The face of the tech priest standing opposite is hidden behind a brass mask. Rather than being one piece, it is assembled from the fragments of many augmetics. You've met this man before. He is called Brass Whisper, a member of Lord Inquisitor Calquazar's retinue. There you are, Tech Brother. Brass Whisper's voice is raspy and punctuated. His gaze is turned toward Pascal. The salutatory procedure will be performed, the identification codes verified after the priority request has been executed. Tell me where the blessed Amarnat is. Pascal's voice clings like steel. A cracked chuckle comes from behind the mask. You still don't understand. You're from Calquazar's retinue. Does he have anything to do with this? Marginally. He used to play a major part in this story. Not anymore. This meeting is held upon my initiative. Brass Whisper surveys the Inquisition soldiers and warriors of the Omnissiah standing motionless. That said, I'm still under the protection of the Lord Inquisitor and the Connaissance Fleet. Keep that in mind. Local spoke of a ghost without a face. Did they mean you? Response, affirmative. In order to move the Hermetico out of the procession of the damned, we had to disturb the pitiful locals. What is going on here? We intend to discontinue the cycle. Is that not obvious? There's a note of sarcasm in Brass Whisper's croaking voice. Speak, or I will rip your memories out along with the Ferrum Sanctum implanted in your brain. Pascal enunciates each word as he activates his drilling mechadendrite. What do you know of Amarnat? The hollow pain laughter from behind the brass mask is amplified by its echo. I know everything. We're looking for Archmagos Amarnat, and we want answers. Looking? How absurd. You lack the very concept of what you are looking for, layman. You expect to find a man, and Amarnat never was one. He was never one person. The Amarnat Collective was created by a group of tech priests who renounced individuality and merged into a hive mind. A mind that reasoned algorithmically, but was guided by the principles and convictions of a righteous spirit. A superego that brought them one step closer to the Omnissiah. You're looking for Archmagos Amarnat, you say. Something clicks inside Brass Whisper's mask, and his voice becomes louder and harsher, as if coated in liquid metal. He has been by your side all this time. The statement is false. The hypothesis is without merit. Brass Whisper interrupts him with a forceful shout. As the cycle coils in multitudinous loops, it intersects with itself, and locks us in a cage of data vowels. Pascal shudders as if struck by the motive force itself. Mechadendrites rise like steel wings behind his shoulders. The voice from his vox speaker takes on an otherworldly profundity and power. And therefore, The cycle must be discontinued. Are you saying Pascal is part... Well, let's see this first. Maybe we take both options. Pascal, what is going on? Pascal turns his gaze to you, his pupils burning bright with celestial fire. A single word escapes from his vox. Restoration. Cognitive reconstruction mechanism activated. The memory is awakening inside you. Brass Whisper is shaken by a violent coughing fit, then he shouts ferociously. Remember. The Amrat Collective was designed to be a philosopher and a researcher. The concepts he produced were so powerful that they almost destroyed the Cognizance fleet. But then he faced an insolvable dilemma, and that was when Amarnat came apart. The 7 constituent servants of the Omnissiah hid their own memories from themselves behind false personas, or were sent off to various parts of the Coronis expanse. They went into hiding. Each had to live in solitude for many decades, accumulating observations and eventually bringing that experience to a reunited Amarnat who would tackle the dilemma once more. That would be the restoration. Sorrow echoes in Pascal's inhuman voice. 211 Terran years. It was such a long time ago. The companion looks overwhelmed and pensive. So the tech priests of the name Hanuman are all parts of Amarnat. Yes, 6 mental keynotes. Demence was paranoia. After the separation, he sensed that his memory was a web of lies, and that feeling drove him to the depths of madness. Tarsus was faith, fiery and unyielding. Axiomantha was logic, unclouded by emotion or value judgments. Abel was her good twin, imagination. He did not know his past, just like the others, but he felt more than they did. He was always different. That was why he was the first to get close to the restoration. One of the first. Pascal was judgment, the moderator of the cognitive process, the one who makes the decision. Pascal's voice rises to the vault of the observatorium and rumbles beneath it like thunder. And Nile. The brass mask starts to unlock with a hissing sound. Dogmatics bend back, revealing a face disfigured by burns. Ullman's face with a pair of darkly radiant, vibrant eyes. Skepticism, the one who doubts. Did Amarnat believe he could form again? The plan sounds risky. The restoration was statistically calculated on a level beyond your comprehension, layman. Billions of variables were taken into account. Countless scenarios went into the development of optimal strategies. 2 Amarnat units meeting each other was an inevitable certainty. The matching identifiers were to be a spark that would start a chain of reaction, and that was precisely what happened. A ringing brittleness enters Pascal's voice. We're motivated by the perfect stimuli: curiosity, anxiety, shame. Each part of us was hostage to the legend of a betrayal it had committed, where suffering drove us to search and strive. What was the dilemma Amarnat faced? Its name was Eschados, the secret to the right of putting a machine spirit to death, a technology embodying the discontinuing of the cycle. Was it meant to exist? Or was it the acme of profanity against the Omnissiah and his creation? Pascal continues Brass Whisper's speech in a lofty tone. Eschados was the perfect weapon against creations of the Omnissiah that had been corrupted by enemies, but also against his faithful servants. Its spread could bring victory to the Imperium, or it could destroy it. Eschados could spell the end of the Adeptus Mechanicus, for it was the perfect answer to the power wielded by the cult of the Machine God. Was it a blessing or a curse? There was no answer. Contraction was unacceptable, and so a way was found to shelve the issue. Niall gave a raspy sigh. I found the answer. The shadows should not exist. We will correct our mistake. What is the shadows? The power of machine negation, a nospheric signal that interrupts any and all life created by the Omnissiah. A green flash runs along the crack in Pascal's respirator. The power that I used to tap into unconsciously. Shared knowledge lay dormant inside the mind of every Amarnat unit. You tried to decrypt the other Hunumans' neurocogitators, did you not? But to no avail. It was you who created the cipher that locked Amarnat's memory. You're the maimed hunter. You tried to kill the other Hanumans. This statement is true. I was admitted into the Lord Inquisitor's retinue and authorized to study a dangerous artifact taken from Amarnat. It tried to exert some kind of influence on me, but my data vows protected me. Niall Hanuman touches her scarred face. A short circuit awakened some of my memories. I conducted an analysis, solved the Ashado's dilemma, and began to act. My agents all but terminated Tarsus. They hid under an armor of martyrdom and insanity. An attempt to intercept Pascal on Alter Templum Calixis EXT-17 failed, because Abel had summoned him. The assassins caught up to him at the Rykad Menorah starport, but he was able to escape again. Another group went after Abel, only to perish at an Electro-Priest monastery. We dispatched Demence, who had lapsed into heresy. Axiomantha simply disappeared until she suddenly turned up dead on Euphrates II. I have no idea how she managed to hide from me. I don't have to call him an idiot. But sure. Idiot. Calcazar was harboring Axiomantha the whole time. He was working for him. I am registering a lie. The Lord Inquisitor shared my conviction that Amarnat's legacy had to be destroyed. He was summoned to the Cronus Expanse by loyal members of the Cognizance Fleet in order to depose Amarnat. It was his troops that attacked the Hermetico in an attempt to obliterate our schismatic creation. So that was how you got on board the ship and into the observatorium, Niall. Our traitorous tech comrades gave Calcazar the access codes to the bridge. He gave them to you. Acute conviction vibrates in Pascal's voice as he makes these quiet statements of fact. He's not asking questions. He is passing judgment. You were deceived, sister. Calcazar appropriated our work. He continued our research, no longer bound by the Omniscience canon. And you enabled him by destroying those who could return and reclaim his bloodied prize. Lies. Something you have not heard before creeps into Niall's voice. A note of fear. Yours was a grim duty, but you were unflinching in fulfilling it. With a mixture of pain and pride, Whisper replies, we all chose the path of martyrdom. I merely helped them reach the supreme goal at the end of that path. Niall's voice is imperiously metallic. Tech brother, I offer you the chance to yield peacefully to a fate that will please the Omnissiah. Do not resist your termination. You'll pass into oblivion as my friend and fellow believer. Pascal's reply sweeps Niall's words away like a gust of wind. His optical visor turns a blinding blue. No, tech sister. Refraining from resistance was never our way. I'm an explorator. A reconnoiterer of knowledge. I have brought fire to 100 worlds. I have gleaned 1,000 secrets in the darkness. I'm an agent of unbridled will. I will not yield to oblivion, for oblivion itself fears me. So, in this case, as a dogmatic character, I'm going to side with Pascal and Calcazar, and against Niall. Reconnoiterer. I feel like it's missing an E, right? It threw me off. It's like reconnoiterer? Maybe it is Trur. I don't know, I've never seen it spelled that way, so I think it's reconnoiterer. Anyway, sorry, that got caught up on that. Smile at Niall. This is my companion, Pascal Hanuman, and you made a mistake in meddling with him. You wanted me to awaken Tech Sister. Here I am, holding you to account. Niall's disfigured lips twist, and seeds of dismay sprout in her voice. I lured you here for a reason, Pascal. I wanted you to see what our followers had become. This is what deviation from dogma ends in. Breach of canon begets ignorance. Ignorance begets blasphemy. All we did was breed corruption, schism. Remember when they came to depose us? We resisted them and destroyed this ship, a sacred relic, an art mechanicus older than our priesthood itself. Here in this hall, we released the shadows and allowed an unconscionable heresy to happen. Do you remember? You remember how you got your cleft jaw? Pascal looks thoughtful as he touches the crack running across his armored respirator. A green spark runs through the deep gash left by an enemy's weapon in the metal. And it sufficed for you to merely show up in the expanse again, for the schism to rear its head once more. The Reconnaissance fleet is already being torn apart by a fratricidal war. Is this what we wanted? Let us finish this. Let us discontinue the cycle. Now the words of the one who once called herself Brass Whisper sound more like a plea. The voice that answers her is no human voice. It could belong to a giant void ship or a forge world, if they could speak. You violated procedure, skepticism. You usurp the function of another. You challenge only. You do not make decisions. I do. You're right, Pascal. You're the decision maker. Pascal extends a mechadendrite toward Niall and pronounces, Tech Sister, my judgment of you and your actions is one of condemnation. Tampering with procedure is unacceptable. Sabotaging the experiment is apostasy. For your betrayal, your vital functions will be terminated in the name of the Messiah of Discontinuing. A greenish pulse of energy is born inside Pascal's augmetics and darts toward Niall like a furious lightning bolt. The green energy entangles Niall like a net, burning her true flesh, burning the life force from her augmetics and mechanical components. But she focuses her will and strikes back at Pascal with a pulse of her own. The rattling voice, no longer human, rages and roars like a forest fire. I refuse to recognize you as the Messiah. I do not believe in you. That is your problem. You've always been too skeptical.
I'll make an example out of you.
For the Emperor!
The Shadows' bonds. Brass Whisper awakens the Shadows, empowering both herself and Pascal for one round. Machine Spirit Absolute. Brass Whisper calls out to the Machine Spirit, her allies are blessed with its powers and her enemies are cursed for 2 rounds. Humility Protocol. Brass Whisper uses the power of the Shadows to jam all augmentations and mechanisms in the bodies of her enemies. The targets must pass a willpower resistance test with a -10 penalty or become stunned for 1 round. Does not affect Pascal. And Wrath of the Shadows. At the start of each round, a special 7x7 zone is created around a random enemy that explodes at the end of the round. Anyone in the zone at the time of the explosion will suffer the Wrath of the Shadows effect for 2 rounds. If the creature is already affected by this effect, Wrath of the Shadows is removed instead.
I'll see to it personally.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time.
Don't let your guard down.
The Omniscient knows all, comprehends all.
It only costs 1 AP, but I can't use it.
You've got a problem? Jai Haidari. Remember the name.
Request approved. The scriptural prognosis is favorable. Running binary. When Fenris is in battle, oceans bleed.
That's terrifying.
Moving out.
Negligible.
Sniper with a burn effect.
Follow my lead.
Okay, that's a little out of range, but I guess if they have
One fewer target.
melee attack that covers more than one tile, he can still parry it. That seems a bit
Just
silly.
a minor setback.
I mean, I'll take it, but that seems a bit silly. Alright. Get an attack in on my main character.
He's as good as... I'll see to it personally. Who if not me?
We haven't given him an extra turn yet.
My gut tells me it's a bad idea.
Why can't he act? Oh, he's stunned.
I have become the All-Father's worthy instrument!
Weeb.
So it shall be.
You should feel honored to witness this!
Cubs play. Is that all you want? Feel the icy bite of death!
We'll save the kill for Pascal.
I will carve runes out of your bones!
Alright, not gonna reload, let's keep pushing forward.
None can... So it shall be.
Oh, what are you doing? Have to run around like that.
I don't like that. I will carve runes runes out of your bones. See how the wolf succeeds? Die in disgrace! Cubs play! None can do this better than a warrior of the All-Father!
Not a terrible turn.
Wolves, I will carve runes out of your bones! My instincts tell me to refuse. Ha! The fame-hungry come. So shall it be. See how the wolf succeeds! Die in disgrace!
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
It's not taunt in case they do a melee attack on Abelard and he retaliates. We're just gonna sit still.
On it.
My vow is...
There we go. Stop. Thou shalt not create a schism. Thou shalt not suffer a heretic. A heretic. At the hand of a deity, Mechadendrite extends over Nile line convulsing on the deck. I did not want this tech sister, but the procedure must be completed. Farewell. His claw carefully removes a mangled, soot-covered neural cogitator from Brass Whisper's head. The tech priest shudders, and peace descends over her disfigured face. Take a closer look at Pascal. The tech priest looks the same as before, yet different. His morbid aura of martyrdom has given way to a calm and powerful halo of purposefulness. His mechadendrites move with the grace of an inscrutable dance. The scars left by loss and doubt have turned into dark threads on a radiant body confident in its next step. And his voice. A voice born in the nuclear font of a star and hardened in the cold of the interplanetary void. I'm not going to bow to him, I only worship the Emperor on this character. You did the right thing. She deserved it. Whether she deserved it does not matter. I did what was right, because it was right. The voice from the Vox is like the twirling of bells summoning a host of angels. I declare the period of ignorance over. We'll resume execution of the general algorithm. Integrity has been rehabilitated to a satisfactory degree. Memory access has been restored. I remember everything. Pascal turns to you and gives you a long look brimming with quiet elation. Are you Amarnat? Excuse me. This statement is true. Pascal's stock phrase sounds more complex and more human than before. I carry within me his memory and his logical foundation. I am us. I am Amarnat. Thank you for the path we have walked. As Pascal bows, his thin shoulders seem to take an eternity to descend from the heights that his mind has soared to. And I am sorry about what happened to Theodora. Did you know Theodora? We were allies. He entrusted me with studying a trophy she had obtained. The voice from the Vox grows quiet and hoarse, as though coming from a distant past. We, Amarnat, discovered the basic ways of communicating with it. We developed a weapons-grade strain of tech blight for her. It terrified me. So I developed its antidote, the Shadows. The concept for the ultimate interruption of machine life. That was why every one of our shards was located so close to you, and to the Von Valancius domain. We were counting on her finding us, and extending us her aid and protection. What are you, or what were you? A higher form of intelligence. A collective of computational tools freed from the limitations of individualism and the aberrations that stem from having a distinct personality. And at the same time, a collective bound by a single set of principles that are of equal importance to all, being pure faith in the Omnissiah and acting for the benefit of humanity. We were different. Each one of us considered the prospects of such an experiment, but I was the first to gain the resolve to attempt it. Niall joined the project to effect control over it. She regarded the experiment as dangerously close to a blasphemous act of creation. The Conclave had ordered her to end my research, but she became convinced of the possibility of its success. Niall reinforced our union with the prudence of Demence, a meticulous and reserved auditor, a danger seeker. I strengthened our genius with the fiery faith of the warrior Tarzus, in order to banish the shadows of false ideas. Aximantha, who teetered on the brink of becoming a Malatech, was chosen by us for her loyalty to ruthless logic and her cold scrutiny, or indeed dissection of our theories. Abel refills Pascal's voice, our quiet genius, Decade's genius of imagination, the abstract artist of code. His talent completed the collective and made it a whole. What next? What is the general algorithm? A judgment must be passed. Should the secret of his shadows exist or be shunned as a false path? And should I exist? That is, we, Amarnat. Amarnat was a union of 6 tech priests. All but a few of them are dead now. How does Amarnat still exist? Everything Amarnat was at the moment of the disconnection has now awoken in my mind. We're at the point where we stopped, but the Amarnat Collective was envisioned as a dynamic structure. We need new minds. The Collective can be replenished with worthy minds from among those aboard the Hermetico. Sincerity is present in their motives and faith. They're intuitively capable of comprehending the notion of discontinuing the cycle. Our collective memory can compensate for their lack of knowledge and memory of the rites. Restoration is possible. Pascal, or used to be known as Pascal, makes a sacred gesture, and green sparks run down his mechanical arm. But the judgment must be passed first. What judgment are you leaning toward? Pascal casts a sorrowful gaze at Niall's body. His voice is full of wisdom and wariness. We've seen many things over the decades. We've seen true corruption, the distortion of the Omnissiah's design, Galva Gamma, Euphrates II, the planets of Xenos pass into oblivion, our own crimes. The darkness grows. There must be a fire to burn it away. The graceful dance of the Mechadendrites takes on a more energetic, wilder pattern. I'm leaning toward the idea that Shadows is necessary, that Amarnat is necessary, that the cycle must be discontinued. What will the destruction of Shadows mean for you? A shower of sparks bursts on the power unit on Pascal's shoulders, burning holes in his scarlet hood. An act of self-sacrifice. I'll destroy the data concerning this technology and the methods of reproducing it. I'll burn it out of my neural circuits, along with everything that led to its creation. Amarnat will be no more. Only a damaged and incomplete shard of him will remain. Pascal Hanuman. Does it reek of heresy? I think it kind of does, when it comes to the Mechanicus specifically. Not sure if my character would care much. Now the Inquisitor, the Lord Inquisitor, Calcazar, seems to be in favor of Shadows, which makes me think I should be in favor of it. I think for this playthrough, option 3 makes the most sense. This is more of an iconoclast one, and this could be heretical. Nah, it's a tough choice. He's leaning towards keeping it, right? Ah, man, tough choice. Alright, option 3. Your secret reeks of heresy. Do the right thing and destroy it. The god's voice is thunderous and mournful. Shadows is not to blame for the schism and bloodshed that followed its creation. The blame lies with us. The innermost secret must not be lost because of our imperfection. We recognize that the Amarnat Collective has proved itself incapable of solving the dilemma and does not deserve rebirth. So let the dilemma henceforth be solved by Pascal Hanuman, alone. We could fight him right now? So he's going to keep it regardless of what we say here. Alright, do what you've decided to do. I tried. Pascal throws back his head, and the power brimming in his voice rushes forth like a flood. The Tech Priest's booming voice is heard throughout the ship, echoed by every Vox speaker on every deck. I peered into the vortex of time and saw dark omens. I saw that my tech comrades and I were trapped in the cycle, spiraling towards nothingness. I saw inevitable doom at the end of that trajectory, and rebelled against it. In accordance with the Machine God's commandment, I've crafted a tool with which to implement my design. In accordance with his commandment, I developed a plan and analyzed it. Now I will act. By my power as an Archmagos, I hereby effect a restoration and revive the Amarnat Collective. The servants of the Omnissiah need a Messiah who will discontinue their cycle. Now I'll be that Messiah. I am him. He does say that he's doing it for humanity. And it can prevent things like Kiava Gamma and Euphrates 2 from happening again, so I think my character would be in favor of it. I don't know, tough roleplay choice, I think. The Akchen tribesfolk, the ignorant fosterlings of the Omnissiah, slip into the observatorium hall like silent shadows. Led by an intuitive grasp of the significance of the moment, they automatically gather in a circle, heeding Pascal's summons. Or perhaps, at this point, someone else's. Plus, if the Shadows is too dangerous to actually have, it's right up the Imperium's alley because they are full of self-sabotage. They don't always make the best choices when it comes to preventing external threats. Or internal threats, for that matter. I hear echoes of other voices in Pascal's. A touch of Demence's anxiety, of Tarz's seal, of Axiomantha's pensiveness. They all fuse into a new voice, full of wisdom and confidence, and is a prerogative to lead. The voice of Archmagos Amarnat. And this voice takes hold of the lips of your companion's new brothers and sisters. The ancient tech priest turns his gaze toward you and says with gravitas, "Let the cycle be discontinued." Alright, well, I'm going to call it here, and next time we will grab all the loot and then make our way off the ship. And speak to him when we get back. I don't see anything new here. Well, either way for now, I'm going to call it here. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.